There is a certain kind of power that only silence can teach you. Most people never discover it. They believe that the minute they get an idea, the moment a spark lights up inside them, they must announce it, share it, broadcast it. They rush to tell the world what they plan to do, hoping for applause, hoping for validation, hoping someone will confirm that the idea is good. But you must understand something very important. The moment you start talking, you start losing momentum. The energy that was meant to push you forward begins leaking through your lips. Every sentence you speak about your plans is a piece of fuel taken away from the engine that is supposed to move your life. Talking is easy, talking is comforting, talking feels like progress, and that's the danger. Words give a sense of accomplishment without requiring any effort. You can sit in a room, do absolutely nothing, and still feel productive, just because you described what you intend to do. But intentions don't move mountains. Intentions don't build businesses. Intentions don't change lives. Only action does. Silence, on the other hand, is not just the absence of noise. It is the presence of discipline. When you choose silence, you choose focus. You choose to direct your energy inward where the work actually happens. You choose to spend your time building instead of explaining. And when you do that, something magical starts to happen. You gain momentum. Momentum is a fragile thing. It can be broken by the smallest interruption, the tiniest distraction, the wrong conversation at the wrong time. That's why silence is not simply wise. It's strategic. The less you talk, the less you invite delays, doubts, or detours. You protect your drive. You protect your vision. You protect the fire inside you that still needs time to grow. Here's the truth most people never learn. The early stage of any goal is the most vulnerable. It's like a seed. A seed is powerful, but only when it's buried, watered, protected. It cannot withstand critics. It cannot handle the wind. It cannot survive wandering hands. Your ideas are the same. When they are young, when they are still forming, they need privacy, not publicity. When you start describing what you're going to do, you open the door to opinions. Some people will misunderstand you. Others will discourage you. Some will question your ability. And even if no one says anything negative, the simple act of revealing your plans changes your psychology. Instead of feeling hungry to prove something, you feel satisfied for being praised. That satisfaction is dangerous. It steals your hunger. It weakens your drive. You become a commentator of your dreams instead of the architect of them. But when you stay quiet, your mind stays sharp. You remain restless enough to work. You stay committed because nothing has been announced, nothing has been promised, nothing has been showcased. There is no audience yet, no applause yet, no congratulations yet. And that's exactly how it should be. The work deserves to be finished before it is celebrated. Silence also has another benefit. It allows you to observe. When your mouth is closed, your eyes open. You begin to notice things you never saw before. You notice opportunities that others overlook, mistakes that others repeat, patterns that others ignore. You learn more by listening than by talking. You grow faster by thinking than by boasting. And that is where momentum lives. In the quiet hours, in the unseen labor, in the choices no one applauds, in the effort no one witnesses. Those invisible steps build the visible results you're looking for. Some people believe that sharing their plans keeps them accountable. But accountability without discipline is just noise. What you need is not an audience watching you try. What you need is a mind committed to doing the work even when no one is watching. Real accountability is personal. It's silent. It's when you look in the mirror and say, "Today, I move one step forward," and then you actually do it. There is a time to speak. Of course there is. But that time is after the work is done. After the results are real, after the progress is visible. When your achievement walks into the room before you do, then you don't need to say much. In fact, the less you say, the more people listen. So choose silence while you're building. Guard your plans the way a gardener guards a fragile plant. Protect your energy the way a warrior protects his strength. Direct everything you have toward the effort, not the announcement. Because silence does something powerful, it strengthens your momentum. It keeps you moving forward without interruption, without interference, without the weight of unnecessary opinions. It keeps your steps clean, your focus sharp, and your progress pure. Move quietly, work privately, grow inwardly, and let your results speak loudly enough that you never have to explain what you were doing. There is something remarkable about results. They speak in a language everyone understands. No translation needed, no explanation required, no long introduction necessary. When something is real, when something is built, when something is achieved, it announces itself with more force than any speech, any promise, or any plan you could ever describe. That is why the wisest people learn early in life to let their work do the talking. You see, people have grown used to words. They hear promises every day. I'm going to start this. I'm planning to achieve that. One day you'll see me do something big. The world is full of declarations from people who never take the first step. So when you talk about your plans, even if your intention is sincere, your words get lost in the noise of everyone else who only talks. It doesn't impress people. It doesn't inspire faith. Words have become cheap because people spend them so freely, but results, now that's something different. Results catch attention. Results change conversations. Results shift the air in the room. When you walk in with something finished, accomplished, or proven, people look at you differently. You don't have to convince them. You don't have to persuade them. You don't have to describe what you're going to do. You've already done it, and nothing is more convincing than that. There is a strength that comes from showing rather than telling. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, steady, and undeniable. When your work speaks for you, no one can argue with it. They can disagree with your dreams. They can misunderstand your intentions. But they cannot deny what's right in front of them. A finished product, a completed goal, a transformation you can see. These things silence doubts more effectively than any explanation you could offer. And here is the beautiful part. When you stop talking and start producing, you begin to grow your character in a way that words never could. You learn discipline, you learn patience, you learn endurance, you learn how to push through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. When you're busy telling people what you're planning, you rely on their applause for energy. But when you're busy doing the work, you rely on your internal strength. That is a more powerful fuel, one that doesn't run out when others stop cheering. Some people talk because they want approval. They want someone to tell them their idea is good, their plan is smart, their vision is impressive. But needing approval weakens you. It ties your motivation to the opinion of others, and opinions are unpredictable. Some people might discourage you because they don't understand your dream. Others might discourage you because your dream exposes what they refuse to chase in their own life. When you depend on applause, you lose control of your drive. But when you focus on the work, when you let results become your voice, you take back your power. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop looking for permission. You stop worrying about who thinks what. You simply get up each day and move your life forward one step at a time. And when you eventually reveal your progress, people won't evaluate you based on promises. They'll evaluate you based on evidence. There is also something refreshing, almost peaceful, about working quietly. When you are not broadcasting your every intention, your mind becomes calmer. Your focus sharpens. The noise of the world fades a little. You're not burdened by the pressure to impress anyone. You're not distracted by the need to update people. You're not drained by defending your plans against misunderstanding. You just work. And that work becomes a kind of meditation, a steady path that keeps your spirit grounded and your direction clear. It is remarkable how life begins to respond differently when you choose to let your efforts speak. Opportunities begin to appear. People start taking notice, not because you demanded their attention, but because your progress earned it. There is a quiet dignity in proving yourself by producing something real. It builds a type of confidence that cannot be shaken because it's built on action, not imagination. And remember this, the world believes what it sees, not what it hears. When you say you're going to do something, people may nod politely. But when you do it, when you stand there with results in your hands, those same people suddenly become silent, attentive, respectful. They lean in, they listen, because now your words are backed by the weight of achievement. That's the beauty of letting your work speak. It cannot be debated, it cannot be dismissed, it cannot be ignored. It carries its own authority. So choose results over announcements. Choose effort over explanations. Choose progress over speeches. Let your hands write the story your mouth doesn't need to tell. One day, when you reveal what you've built, people will wonder how you did it. They will ask where it came from. They will admire the final product, but never see the early mornings, the late nights, the silent hours when you worked alone. They won't see it, and they don't need to, because the finished work is enough. It speaks for you loudly, clearly, confidently. Work until your results become the introduction you never had to give. Then let your life do the talking. There is a quiet truth you learn as you grow. Not everyone is meant to understand your vision. And it's not because your vision is wrong, or too big, or too unusual. It's because your vision was given to you, not to them. The picture you see in your mind is clear because it's yours. The desire you feel in your heart is strong because it belongs to you. But to others, your dream is just a sentence, a few vague words, a blurry description of something they cannot feel the way you feel it. So naturally, they don't understand, they can't, and sometimes they won't even try. This is why sharing your plans too early can do more damage than you realize. You might think you're sharing excitement. You might think you're inviting support. You might think you're building enthusiasm. But often, you're opening the door to confusion, doubt, and misunderstanding. And misunderstanding is a powerful thing. It can weaken even the strongest intention if you're not careful. Some people will misunderstand your dream simply because they've never seen anything like it. They live within familiar boundaries, comfortable routines, predictable patterns. When you talk about stepping outside those limits, it triggers their fear. Not fear for you, fear for themselves. Your ambition shines a light on the places they stopped trying. Your vision reminds them of the risks they refuse to take. And instead of facing their own hesitation, they question your dream instead. They cloak their doubt as concern, but it's really discomfort. Others will misunderstand your plan because they interpret everything through the filter of their own life. If something sounds impossible for them, they assume it must be impossible for you too. If they can't imagine having the discipline, they assume you don't either. If they can't picture the path, they assume there is no path. They measure your capacity with their limits, and if you're not grounded in your own belief, their limits may begin to feel like your own. You must also remember that some people don't misunderstand out of fear or limitation. They misunderstand because they lack the imagination you carry. Your mind has already traveled the road. You've seen the destination, felt the pull of something greater. But to others, your dream is just an outline, a shadow, a rough sketch, and shadows don't inspire confidence. That's why your most precious ideas need protection. They are like flames in the wind, beautiful, powerful, full of potential, but fragile. Expose them too quickly, and a single gust of doubt from someone else can put them out, not because their words are stronger, but because the flame is still new, still forming, still growing. It needs time to become a fire that cannot be blown out. Some people will misunderstand you because they focus on what you are, not what you're becoming. They know the old version of you, the version that lived yesterday, the version you're trying to outgrow. They've categorized you in their mind, placed you in a box based on what they've seen before. When you speak of a bigger future, they compare it to your past. They forget that the past is not a prison, unless you let it be one. You can't blame people for misunderstanding. Everyone sees the world through their own experiences, but you can control how much access you give them to your vision. You can choose to protect the things that are important to you. You can choose to grow quietly until your results speak louder than their doubts. Because here's the truth. When people don't understand your vision, they often try to reshape it into something they do understand. They shrink it, they adjust it, they twist it. They give advice that redirects you away from the very path you're supposed to walk. And if you're not anchored, you may end up following their version of your dream instead of your own. You must be careful. Not everyone who misunderstands you is harmful, but their misunderstanding can still harm your momentum. They can slow you down with questions that don't matter. They can discourage you without intending to. They can distract you with opinions that add no value. And little by little, your energy drains, not because your dream is weak, but because you shared it with people who weren't ready to hear it. The wiser approach is to allow your vision to grow within you before you attempt to share it with others. Let your belief become strong, let your commitment deepen, let your progress speak. Then, when you finally present what you've built, people won't misunderstand it. They'll admire it. They won't question your direction. They'll respect it. They won't doubt your plan. They'll recognize your capability. When you speak too soon, people judge your dream. When you work in silence, people judge your results. And that is a much better position to be in. So protect your vision from unnecessary eyes. Guard your plans from casual conversations. Honor your goals by giving them the privacy they need. Let the world see the finished chapter, not the rough draft. Let your progress reveal the story at the right time, because not everyone will understand where you're going, but everyone will understand once you've arrived. There's a simple rule in life that many people learn far too late. The more you talk, the more you invite distraction. It doesn't seem that way at first. Talking feels light, harmless, friendly. You share a plan here, mention an idea there, describe a dream to someone you trust, and it feels good. It feels like connection, like motivation, like you're moving forward. But slowly, without even realizing it, your focus starts slipping away. Your energy spreads thin, your direction becomes less sharp. You think you're gaining support, but what you're really doing is opening the door to noise. And noise is dangerous. Noise doesn't always show up as chaos or criticism. Sometimes noise comes as curiosity, as questions, as opinions that gently pull your mind off the path you were walking. Sometimes noise arrives as admiration or excitement from others, and even that can weaken your drive if you're not careful. Because attention, even positive attention, can pull you away from the work you must do quietly. There is something powerful about a plan that lives only inside your mind. It stays pure, it stays simple, it stays clear. But the moment you start explaining it to others, it becomes exposed. People start asking, why this? Why now? Are you sure? Even innocent questions can distract you. They force you to analyze things you had already decided. They make you second, guess steps that felt natural. They create a conversation around something that was supposed to be an action. Distraction doesn't always look like distraction. Sometimes it looks like concern. Sometimes it looks like advice. Sometimes it looks like help. And even though people mean well, their involvement pulls you into conversations that drain your mental clarity. Every time you explain your dream, you are spending energy that should have gone into building it. Imagine trying to run a race while stopping every few minutes to explain to bystanders where you're going, why you're running, how long the race is, and what your strategy will be. Eventually, you're no longer racing. You're talking about racing. That's what many people do with their goals. They pause their progress to turn their dreams into stories instead of steps. Talking attracts attention. And attention attracts noise. Suddenly, people are watching you. They're waiting to see if you follow through. They're comparing your pace to their expectations. Now you feel pressure. Not the kind that pushes you forward, but the kind that distracts your mind. Instead of focusing on the work, you start thinking about the watchers. Instead of thinking about progress, you think about performance. You begin acting for an audience instead of acting for your future. But when you choose silence, you remove the audience. You remove the noise. You remove the pressure. You can think more clearly. You can move more freely. You can take risks quietly without feeling judged. You can make mistakes without feeling watched. And you can adjust your path without needing to explain yourself to anyone. Silence protects your attention. And attention is one of the most valuable things you have. Without it, even the best ideas fade away. Without it, even the strongest ambition becomes scattered. Without it, even the most disciplined person can lose their way. You have to guard your attention as if your future depends on it, because it does. Distraction is not just the thief of time, it's the thief of direction. It steals your momentum, your rhythm, your flow. You may think you can handle a little noise, a few questions, a few conversations. But distractions rarely come alone. They multiply. One opinion becomes 5. One doubt becomes 10. One moment of explaining becomes hours of overthinking. It's not that people intend to distract you, most don't. But when you give others access to your inner world, you're also giving them influence, and not everyone deserves influence over your next steps. Your path is delicate. Your progress is personal. Your mind is easily pulled, even when you pretend it isn't. Silence helps you stay committed to your own voice. When you talk less, you hear your thoughts more. You notice the difference between what you want and what others expect from you. You start making decisions based on wisdom, not reaction. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to think independently. And this kind of inner focus builds a strength that loud people never develop. Some people talk because they want approval. Others talk because they want attention. But neither approval nor attention can build anything meaningful. Work builds, discipline builds, consistency builds, silence builds. A quiet life may feel invisible at times, but invisibility is often the secret of those who achieve the most. When you're silent, every ounce of energy goes into action. Every hour becomes productive. No words are wasted. No time is lost in defending, explaining, or convincing. You simply move, you simply build, you simply grow. And when results finally appear, they speak louder than any plan you could have described. So keep your head down, keep your circle small, keep your plans private. Let people see the outcome, not the process. Let them see the growth, not the growing pains. Let them see the success, not the struggle behind it. Talk less, work more. Protect your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. There is a kind of confidence that cannot be bought, borrowed, or spoken into existence. It is built quietly, patiently, in the background of your life. It grows in the hours when no one is watching and no one is clapping. It appears slowly at first, then all at once, as if the world suddenly notices a strength in you that you have been building piece by piece. This is the confidence that comes from quiet effort. When you work privately, something important happens inside you. You begin to rely on yourself in a way that loud people never experience. You learn the value of your own discipline. You learn that you can count on your own word, even when you aren't announcing it to anyone. You learn that you can carry a dream without needing others to hold it for you. That inner certainty becomes a foundation, and once it grows strong, nothing can easily shake it. People who talk too soon often weaken their own spirit without realizing it. Once they announce a plan, they start depending on the reactions they receive. If people applaud, they feel motivated. If people doubt, they feel discouraged. Their confidence rises and falls based on external noise. But confidence built in silence doesn't behave this way. It isn't fragile. It isn't reactive. It doesn't bend with opinions or moods. It grows from doing the work, not from talking about it. Quiet effort teaches you something words never could. You see your own progress. Others don't see it, but you do. You see yourself becoming stronger. You see your skill improving. You see your consistency forming. And that knowledge, private, personal, undeniable, gives you a strength that doesn't need validation. When you do the work quietly, you also free yourself from comparison. You're not measuring your pace against someone else's timeline. You're not competing with someone's highlight reel. You're not distracted by who seems to be ahead or behind. You just focus on your own step, your own day, your own progress. And when your focus is your own improvement, you grow faster than those who spend all their time observing others. There is something special about developing in silence. It's like a tree taking root underground before it ever touches the sky. No one praises the roots, no one admires them, they are unseen. But the strength of the entire tree depends on what happens beneath the surface. Your silent effort works the same way. The stronger your unseen work, the taller your visible results will eventually rise. Quiet effort also protects you from unnecessary judgment. When no one knows what you're doing, no one can criticize how you're doing it. You don't have to defend your dream to anyone. You don't have to explain your pace. You don't have to justify your struggles. You are free to grow without commentary. You are free to learn without pressure. You are free to make mistakes and adjust them privately without fearing anyone's reaction. This freedom builds courage. The courage to try, to fail, to try again, and to keep going until you get it right. And this courage becomes confidence. Not a loud confidence, not the kind that brags or boasts, but a deep, quiet assurance, a knowing, a steady belief that you can handle whatever comes next because you've already proven to yourself that you can handle the work. When you develop privately, you also avoid the trap of performing for others. Many people lose their way because they start shaping their life around how it looks, not how it feels. They start chasing approval instead of mastery. They start worrying about how their progress appears on the outside rather than working on what matters on the inside. But quiet effort removes the audience, and without the audience, you rediscover the real reason you started in the first place. Quiet effort reminds you of your why. It reminds you of the promise you made to yourself. It reminds you that the journey is yours, not theirs. The more you stay true to your own path, the more purposeful you become. And that purpose gives you a strength that many people lack today, the strength of direction. Another gift of silent effort is resilience. When you don't broadcast your every move, the world cannot measure your failure. And that gives you the courage to experiment, to take risks, to grow in ways that loud people cannot. Because when loud people stumble, everyone sees it, and many never recover from the embarrassment of falling in public. But when you work privately, your setbacks remain quiet. You learn your lessons without shame. You rise stronger without attention. You keep moving without fear. And when you finally reveal what you've built, people will think it appeared out of nowhere. They won't understand the nights you pushed through, the doubts you conquered, the discipline you practiced. They won't see the invisible effort that shaped you. They will only see the result, and the result will speak with a voice louder than anything you could have said. Quiet effort does something remarkable. It transforms you from the inside out. It builds character. It builds resilience. It builds excellence, and excellence, once developed, doesn't need to announce itself. It is felt, it is recognized, it is respected, so work silently, improve privately, grow quietly, build in the shadows if you must, not because you fear visibility, but because you respect the process. When your confidence is built on real effort, you won't need to speak about what you're capable of. Your results will do that for you.